You're welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we want to quickly look at how to number your pages. Yes, I get it. Sometimes you find it difficult numbering your pages, especially when you have this section where there's a title page, there is declaration, there's acknowledgement, and you see those ones take Roman numerals. And then you come to the introduction and you have to number it with numbers 1, 2, 3, and what have you. What do you have to do? All right, so let's dig right in. Now, there are two basic things I want you to first of all take note of before we continue. The first thing is this paragraph button here. You click on the paragraph, you will see here this particular button. All right, let me zoom out. This is the button I'm talking about. Now, this button, when you click it, it begins to show you all the hidden spaces that is in your work. So for instance, if I hit enter several times, it shows me that all these spaces are there. But if I uncheck it, I can't see any space there. So it comes very handy when you want to edit your work. It's very important you click on this button to have it on. All right, that is the first thing I want you to note down. Now, the second thing is that when you go to the layout, you can actually break out the section of your page. So you can break it in the next section, or you can make it continuous or make it even. But we'll be using this next page break for the purpose of this video. All right. And then the last thing is that there is also the page break where you can break the pages. So the page break is different from the section break in that the page break just breaks one page from the other, but the section creates different types of sections. So for instance, the title page and then the page where you have the rest of the acknowledgements and dedications, those are two sections altogether. And those ones are also different from the actual work, which starts from the introduction. So the introduction is another section. And if you're able to break the page and break the sections very well, it helps the numbering of the pages to be very, very easy. So please take note of that. We use page break, and then when we come to layout, we also break the sections as well. And all these are important and they are visible when you have this click on. So for instance, over here, somebody, if I bring the next page to this side, for instance, the declaration is supposed to be in the next page. Somebody will decide to use enter to take it to the next page. That is not advisable. Don't use enter to take it to the next page, especially when they are not of the same information. Instead, if I have this one here, then because the title page is different from this document, then I can break this section. So to do that, I'll just put the cursor at the last word on this title page, come to layout, go to breaks, and then I'll come to next page. Now it breaks this particular page entirely different from this one. Okay, so I could just use backspace to bring it up and then make this one centered, the declaration. Okay, when I come to the declaration and also the introduction, which I'm scrolling down to find out, is not the same. So over here, I could decide to break the section as well. So I'll place the cursor here. The chapter 1 is different from the abstract. Okay, so I want to also break this section. I'll go to layout, breaks, and then break it to the next page, neatly like that. Now, if I bring this cursor here, it should make my page break visible. And I think it has squeezed itself somewhere here. The moment I undo it, it brings the chapter back to it. So I'll take it back there, this particular cursor here, and the very dots that you see here, let me zoom in for you to see. If I use backspace or if I hit delete, it brings up the chapter again. When I undo, it takes it to the next line again. So it's important you break the pages or you use section break. All right, now let's illustrate where the page break is also relevant. So once I have broken it into 3 different sections, now we want to look at how to break the pages as well. So for instance, if I have declaration and dedication is on the same page, declaration and dedication should not be on the same page. Here, because they are the same section, then I could use page break conveniently. I'll just break this page to the next page and make sure this is on there, right up here. So you can see the page break button or showing here. Now, once this is done, we want to start by numbering our pages. So for the declaration, we want to make sure that it starts with an I, and then we put the Roman numeral I, and we move on like that. You can just double click at the footer here. When you double click at the foot here, it brings this particular pane, this header and footer tools pops up. All right, let me zoom out again. Then in it, I can go to the page numbers. Then I'll go to format page numbers. Then I'll have this one. Or if I close this header and footer, I can also go to insert. Then I'll come to page numbers, then format page numbers. It will do the same thing for me. Okay. So here I want to make sure that at the page numbers format pane that counts, this particular format pane that counts, I can choose the format I want. So there is 1, 2, there is this A, B, C, and what have you. I want to choose the Roman numerals. And it's important you choose start at and not continue from previous section, because that section is different from this one. So we want to start at, then we indicate I. As soon as I click OK, this page should give me an I. So as you are done, you realize that the page number is still not visible here. So I can go back to insert and then come back to the page numbers again. Then I'll choose bottom of page. That is why I want the page number to be. I want it to be at the bottom of page. And I'll choose this second plain number 2, which is showing the number in the middle. When I choose it, it now shows my page number, which is I. Now it will begin to arrange everything systematically. So the next one is II. I'll see III, then IV. The table of contents will also be numbered like that. It will go on and on like that. Now, even to the point that chapter 1, which is the introduction, will also be IX, as you can see here. Then so on and so forth. So it will use Roman numerals to number everything as you have. But we don't want the introduction to be what? IX. Here is where it is so important that you make sure that this section is different from this particular section. So as you can see, this is footer section 2 and this is header section 3. So chapter 1 is in section 3. Remember, if you haven't already broken it into the section, I can close this header and footer, come back there again to the introduction. Okay. All right. Yes. And I can see this is numbered as IX. So we want to make sure that this introduction and this abstract is not on the same section. I've already broken it into section, but remember, you go to layout, you go to breaks, and you go to next page. But I have already done that. So if I go back to click on this paragraph tab, okay, or the paragraph indicator, then I will see that this particular document is different from the other one. So I can apply another changes to the chapter 1, which will not necessarily affect the previous one. So how do I do that? I'll come back to this header and footer again, or the footer. I'll double click here, or I can go to insert, then I'll go to page numbering again. But over here, this time I want to change where it is. I don't want to affect the position any longer. Already the header and footer has been indicated. So I'll just double click over here, come to page numbers, and then go to format page numbers. Then instead of leaving it at I, and I, this time I want to choose numbers, the number format. And then I would uncheck continue from previous section and make it start at, then 1. Now as soon as I hit OK, you realize that this time the introduction has started at what? Page 1. As you can see here, introduction is page 1. But let's quickly look at the previous page. The previous page is what? VIII. So you can see that now I've been able to use Roman numerals to number these sections, the details here. But when it starts with my introduction, which is the actual work, it starts with what? Page 1. Then it continues as page 2, on and on and on like that. So remember that you need this button, this paragraph button, you also need to break the section, break the page. You also need to break the section in order to be able to work and use the formula I use. Once you have done that, then you come to insert page numbers, bottom page. You position it where you want the page number to be, and then also you use the format page numbers in order to show whether you want to use letters or numbers to number your page. All right, so with this we come to the end of the video. I believe that now